50 Cent is gearing up to drop major names tied to Diddy, turning social media shots into real legal heat. With documents in hand, he's ready to hand over info as Diddy faces serious charges in New York. Big names from music, sports, and fashion could get pulled in. 50 says the truth's coming, fast.
A lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like hating on, like doing things with people I done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of time my leftovers.
The new baby oil.
Should start looking gray if you ain't got nothing on it.
It's got the new baby oil, bro.
This ain't baby oil.
Nigga, you ran through 8,000 jars of them in prison. He was Ashy Larry.
Relax. I still got everybody looking.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's just up.
That's why I don't be going to the puffy parties. You can hug you from the front and the back at the same time. Tell them about it.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, me and Dub C ain't never been to a Diddy party, motherfucker.
Like an R-A-P-E-R. Got so many essays.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he started to munch me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for money. Did you see find other things to do for money? Bro, I'm not sure I can say that for money.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still had the blackest face out. You still had the mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's Buck. You trying to do money right.
Yo, you can't say that dudes are having sex with other dudes, bro. That might come for you.
One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent. And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. You're still seeing a major effort to protect the big names.
50 Cent isn't letting up on Diddy, and he's standing strong. He's been calling it out for years, and now that Diddy's in the headlines, 50's doubling down. This was never my lane, he says, making it clear he stayed out for a reason. To him, it's not noise, just truth, finally surfacing.
Persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that to be able to call people out. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You're kind of in some ways draining the swamp of Hollywood. And
I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way according to them. You know, and look, if I didn't have an award-winning director doing it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly, I would understand why they would question or doubt anything that I'm doing. But you go into the 90s, and Keefy D said he paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah. Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
So it's not like he hate Diddy, but sometimes he do shit that we don't know about.
Well, for him to make the documentary, I think he hates Diddy.
Nah.
Nah?
That's business.
That's just business?
Business. You wouldn't be mad. Look,
you got to really dislike someone to do a documentary about him.
If Jimmy Iovine did the documentary, would people say he's mad?
Diddy's empire was bigger than parties. From Bad Boy Records to Ciroc, Revolt, and High End fashion, he built a powerhouse backed by star alliances like Jay-Z and Beyonce. But now, that circle might face the fallout. 50 Cent's legal push could uncover deals, transfers, and trails that show who was paid and who stayed silent.
Because I wanted to go against the grain. Anytime you go against the grain, they consider you like kind of bad. Nothing negative, nothing like hardcore. Just, I didn't want to be regular. I didn't want to just make records. I didn't want to just make money. I wanted to make history. And that's all it's ever been about for me, making history. And making music that's timeless. Music that's going to be around when I'm not here, when my kids ain't here. Music that is that good. And having artists and videos and things that, really affect a way of life in a positive way. Affect style, fashion, music. Bad Boy.
Diddy ruled Hollywood nights. His iconic white parties were the place to be, packed with stars like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Ashton Kutcher. But now, that A-list crowd might face the spotlight in court. 50 Cent plans to trace the ties, showing how fame fueled the empire. Behind the glam, the truth may show who is connected and who's bracing for their name to surface.
Before Michael Rubin's all-white party, the real all-white party was Diddy.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
He started in the late 90s and continued on for a very long time. Now I'm going to show you an announcement of him at the party, and he says at a certain hour the kids have to go home. But before I do that, take a look at all of these celebrities who attended these parties. Well, I'm not saying the people who attended these parties are guilty of anything. I just want you to know how highly these parties were regarded. We are talking the highest names in every industry. What happens at these parties, I have no idea. You may have seen the clip of Keeping Up with the Kardashians where they talk about it a little bit, which is absolutely wild, but generally no phones were allowed, so good luck finding clips of the parties. But watch this clip.
The legendary white party, it's the real white party. And to all the kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, kids.
So all the leaked footage of Diddy parties right now is going viral, and here's one clip. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, right? Nothing crazy is happening. But why would they have anything crazy happening with cameras everywhere, right? Like, they're smarter than that. But there you guys go. More footage is going viral. Shabam.
Give a shout out.
Icons like Mary J. Blige and Usher rose with Diddy's help, from studio sessions to early support. But now, those connections are under the microscope. Mary's vague post about burning bridges sparked questions, and both stars have stayed quiet since Diddy's arrest. He pled not guilty, but 50 Cent wants every link, photos, favors, and friendships brought into court. What once looked like mentorship could soon look like evidence.
I met Puff. I was afraid of success, afraid to do anything that could put so much attention on me. And then when I met him, he was the complete opposite. And he was such a good thing for me because I needed what he had. And so his ambition pushed me to be ambitious because I didn't know how, because, when you come from where I come from, you're scared to be ambitious. You're scared to want more. And so when I met Puff, I was blown away. But it took some years to grow into that and accepting someone that just was so excited about being seen and about having, the lights on them and wanted it for you more than you wanted it for yourself. So, Puff was a huge inspiration to me.
I want you guys to know, man, it was a terrible thing when we found out that Mary J. Blige's tape came out. You not remember a time, man, when she was with KC from Jodeci and they were, on drugs, and KC used to put them hands on Mary J. Blige. So back in the day when her freak tape came out, Mary J. Blige even said herself, this was her rite of passage. Guys, I born and raised in Las Vegas, and I remember the day, man, she had a concert out here in Las Vegas, and she was so high, she was like, hey, how you doing tonight, Los Angeles? But we was in Las Vegas. But Mary J., as you remember, man, she wasn't the finest thing when she got on the scene. Mouth kind of twisted off to the side. She wasn't the best looking thing. They found her singing karaoke, some Anita Baker karaoke in the mall, and they dusted her up, polished her up, and Angie Stone started writing for her, and she became who she was. But she definitely was a part of these parties, and she has no regrets.
The gate. Y'all remember the second album, but Usher does have a first album that's a classic that I executive produced. But most importantly, that's how he became my brother. And to see the way you grow, you have grown, and to see you get better with your craft, and to see the man that you turned into and the consciousness that you have. I know you've been speaking to Harry Belafonte because you hooked me up with speaking to Harry Belafonte. Mm-hmm. So your consciousness, has really, really been a shining example. And the way you just spoken and articulated yourself, imagine me having guardianship for you at 13, and then now you speaking the way that you speaking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Let's go. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Hey.
Diddy's 50th birthday in 2019 drew the biggest names: Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Mariah, Drake. Jay even shared the spotlight in Vanity Fair. Now, he's battling a civil suit over a decades-old claim, calling it blackmail and slamming it as false. But with 50 Cent pressing for testimony, the spotlight may widen. Could icons like Beyonce or Drake be called in? What once was a celebration might now tie into a much deeper case.
Oh yeah! It's P. Sean Daddy Brother Puff Love Diddy Combs, or whatever the hell his name is now. We stopped trying to keep track. Celebrating his big 5-0 with some Elaine from Seinfeld moves at a gigantic party at his house. And everybody was there.
The biggest names that were there: Kim and Kanye, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Is that the order that you want to do that in?
Seriously, you forgot Dougie Fresh, who was also there. He should come first.
The biggest part of the whole night was the fact that Jay-Z and Kanye actually shook hands. They squashed their beef, or at least for that night. Diddy's smiling like, look, I made this happen.
Oh yeah, it was all you, Diddy. Maybe a little help from all the CBD products and Ciroc alcohol that was floating around, but otherwise, all you.
Who else was there?
Who wasn't? Well, maybe not Steve Harvey, because Diddy was banging his daughter. But how about Cardi B and Offset, Kevin Hart, Kobe Bryant, and Post Malone?
They need to understand. Everyone's got to make it. Here we go. Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, if you happy to be alive in here tonight, make some noise. If you're happy to be alive, yo, let me clear the room.
Montana! Yes, sir!
All right, check.
Let's go!
Legendary rapper Jay-Z is denying an allegation that he and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, an anonymous accuser identified only as Jane Doe made the accusation in a civil lawsuit on Sunday. It alleges that the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party back in 2000. In a statement to NBC News, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, called the accusation idiotic, adding, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever should commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" Attorneys representing Combs also dismissed the lawsuit, calling it a shameless publicity stunt. Combs is currently behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after federal prosecutors charged him in September with racketeering and sex.
Diddy's circle wasn't just music. It was models, influencers, and Hollywood elites. Paris Hilton lit up his white parties, Kim Kardashian and Nicole Richie posed in Saint Tropez, and Naomi Campbell partied past the red carpet. Even Russell Brand once said, "It's hard to say no to Diddy." But now, those memories could resurface in court. What seemed like glamour might raise tough questions, and their answers could shift public perception fast.
You've been to some crazy parties, I'm sure. What's the strangest interaction you've had at a party that was like, what's happening right now?
I remember I was lit and I just started dancing with Paris Hilton. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts. What song was playing?
I don't even know. It was one of those nights.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I don't want to be nobody's bitch. I've worked too hard in life. Not even Diddy's bitch. Diddy's new to me, right? He looked after me. He took me on an enforced holiday to Vegas. He's a very intense man because I think he come from nothing and now he's very, very powerful. People that do stuff like that, they're intense.
Actors were part of the scene too. Ashton Kutcher co-hosted Diddy's 2009 White Party, while Will Smith and Bruce Willis joined the Wild Miami Nights in 2004. Now, those moments might return as courtroom evidence. 50 Cent could use the footage to reveal a pattern beneath the glam. What did they see? Did anyone step away when things went too far? In court, those answers could hit hard.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with her daughters.
Him and Puff was there together. They was there, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't know how they fell out or nothing like that. They was road dogs, you know what I'm saying? They even got pictures of him. He got on that blue sweater with the turtleneck, him and him hugged up like this with the black hat. Have you ever seen that picture?
Nah, I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure I came across it.
Yeah. That picture there, they was at that party. that day. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of weird shit. That whole, yeah, that's weird, dude. Yeah, bunch of, it ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no gay basher or none. I mean, none of that shit, but that shit ain't right. You know what I'm saying? That whole party was weirdoed out. And it was Jada Pickett. But
Even top athletes were in the mix. LeBron James once joked on a live stream, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." David Beckham dropped big money for a weekend at Diddy's Hamptons estate, a prize Wayne Rooney won but skipped. Now, as court filings build, those names could resurface. Will LeBron confirm if he ever showed up? Could Beckham's bid turn into a detail he'd rather forget?
I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman. Okay, you said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything. So would it make sense to put pressure on him to do it? The exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other Black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
Watch this. Watch this at a charity event. Look what he does with David Beckham. He offers $150,000 for this event, and you have to see what he says at the end. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. Being that I don't spend a lot of time here and I don't really know the crowd, if you win, you get your choice of one of the other. Choice A is a weekend at my house in the Hamptons, fully staffed on the water, East Hampton, New York. Number 2 is a studio session with me in New York or London. I'll produce a record for you or your kids. Or number 3 is a night out with Diddy, Saturday night in New York. And I promise you, your ass will wake up Wednesday laying beside me.
This is some of the stuff that's going to be revealed, and these are nothing. These are just signs, right? Mm-hmm. But if anything leaks with celebrity names that all of a sudden comes out, it's going to break the internet.
Mr. Wayne Rooney!
Me and you, Wayne! Me and you, baby! Yeah!
It's a showbiz marriage made in heaven.
Me and you, Wayne! Wayne, I'll give you all 3 if you up it. I'll give you all 3. 2 people for 150.
2 people for 150.
Yeah, you can bring the whole.
When they were young bucks growing up and they were getting in a lot of trouble themselves. So, hey, I was like, why don't you come hang out with me?
Did Sean Diddy Combs extend a royal invite to one of his now infamous parties? The hip-hop mogul recalled wanting Prince Harry and Prince William to join his guest list, sharing in a resurfaced interview with Graham Norton in 2011 that the brothers were once welcome in his social circle. Diddy explained that he understood the princes were likely unavailable as they started settling into their adult roles and responsibilities at that time, but he went on to note that he thought they could have fit in a few years earlier.
Before when they were young bucks growing up and they were getting in a lot of trouble themselves. So, hey, I was like, why don't you come hang out with me?
Though Harry and William are not believed to have ever taken Diddy up on the offer, they did meet and pose for photos with the rapper at a 2007 star-studded concert event for their late mother, Princess Diana. And he and Graham appeared to agree that the extent of their relationship likely ended there.
I do worry because I read that on your that you want to get Prince William and Prince Harry to a Diddy party.
I don't think not anymore. I mean, before
Don't ruin our royal wedding for us.
Trust me, they're off the list.
Prince Harry has been named in a lawsuit against P. Diddy.
Yes,
so he's taking the legal action, or?
Yes, so it's a bit complicated. So yesterday, of course, we were talking about those raids, and they were quite extraordinary, those raids. It was like a military operation going into both the mansions on each coast. And we'll come back to that. But this is unrelated to that. This is coincidental that this story has dropped. So this is the story of a man called Rodney Little Rod Jones, who's a producer who's filed a $30 million civil suit against P. Diddy. He's got several suits against him. Now, in the paperwork for this, he has mentioned Prince Harry's name, using Prince Harry as an example of the sort of people that P. Diddy would mix with. He's not accusing Prince Harry of having done anything wrong whatsoever. And to be very honest, there is no suggestion, there's no evidence that P. Diddy and Prince Harry are friends in any way. This vision you see here was back in 2007 at a charity event, and Prince William there as well. And some newspapers are sort of cropping him out of the photographs they're using. But that seems to be the only time they've met and been together.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Donald Trump's past comments about Sean Diddy Combs are getting new attention. A clip of the former president praising the hip-hop mogul on a 2012 episode of The Celebrity Apprentice has resurfaced in the wake of Diddy's bombshell arrest and indictment on sex trafficking charges. Season 5 contestant Aubrey O'Day touted her time working with Diddy in the 2000s girl group Danity Kane as having prepared her for the business world, prompting Trump to defend the artist and entrepreneur when Aubrey didn't want to discuss the matter further.
I am a very strict and focused businesswoman because working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Trump and wife Melania have been photographed with Diddy at multiple high-profile events over the years.
Even royalty, and leaders brushed shoulders with Diddy. Prince Harry was seen backstage with Diddy and Kanye in 2007, and Donald Trump appeared with him at the 1997 U.S. Open. Neither is accused of wrongdoing, but their names now echo in lawsuits. As the case unfolds, even distant ties could draw attention, and the spotlight may follow all the way to the courtroom. Donald Trump's past praise for Diddy is drawing new attention. A resurfaced 2012 Celebrity Apprentice clip shows Trump defending Diddy amid serious charges now making headlines. Contestant Aubrey O'Day, once part of Diddy's girl group Danity Kane, credited him with shaping her career, but hesitated to say more. Trump jumped in, calling Diddy a strong artist and businessman. Now that moment feels far more loaded.